Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
From the land of lemons, magic, and neighbors who still wave, it's Voices of the Valley. Join hosts Jim and John as they shine a spotlight on local businesses, city council news, community events, and all the colorful characters that make the Santa Clara River Valley feel like home. From Santa Paula to Fillmore and Peru, this is your hometown podcast, Voices of the Valley.
We are back.
Yes.
Dark for a week. It felt like a lifetime.
I know.
Wow.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, back east, back to New York, which is why I sound the way I do right now.
Is it just as cold out here as it was back east?
No,
Colder.
it was. So the day before I got there,
Mm-hmm.
it was a negative, like 7 degrees. When I got there, it was in the low teens, and
Yeah. That's a different kind of cold.
it is a different kind of cold.
I've been in Minnesota for an event way back in the day, and there was snow, and it was like, I want to say it was like -5 degrees. It was out of control cold. Different kind of cold.
Wow.
Yeah. So I understand that.
So I flew in from when I was with the software company. I flew into Chicago, and when I left LA, it was 79 degrees. So I'm in jeans and a t-shirt,
Mhm.
totally forgetting about where I'm going.
Typical LA person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I get on the plane, and all of a sudden, as we're starting to land, and I'm looking at the snow and everything like that, I'm going, "Oh my God, I didn't bring a jacket. This is what I got." And so the captain gets on, announces a -15 below.
Nice.
I'm going, holy crap. And with the wind chill of Chicago and everything.
Mhm.
So I get off the plane, and I'm going to get my rental car in jeans and a t-shirt, and everybody else is bundled up to the hilt, and I'm sure everybody's looking at me going like, what a moron.
Don't they have a coat store there? You think they do really well with a coat
I looked,
store there?
but it was really expensive. So
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, no, I'll go cold.
Okay.
I'm the idiot who forgot it.
Yeah, but you see those guys in they go to the sports games and stuff in the outdoors, and they're in just
Yeah.
no shirt and just jeans or whatever they do. And
Well, that's because they're heavily intoxicated.
that's true. So maybe that was the key. Maybe you had to have a couple beverages before you got in the car. A
Yeah.
couple hot chocolates. And move
Yep.
on.
Yep. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about. So I'm running slow, which is
You seem
perfect for our category.
You seem kind of like a mellow speed today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a little drugged up, so the gears aren't. I'm not in fifth. I don't have fifth gear.
You're in low gear right now.
I'm like in third. But it's kind of appropriate for the topic because
Sure.
when you're trying to deal in private business, things can move kind of fast. You can make
Sure.
decisions and things, but when you're dealing in politics or public type organizations, it's like a whole different speed.
Screeching halt.
Oh, it's
Mhm.
it's slower than I am right now.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so I was working with a client, and one of the things that that kind of became apparent to me is that it was almost like we're trying to kind of redefine ourselves
Mhm.
with the House of Magic and White Rabbit and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build a little bit more focus
Mhm.
in what I'm doing and not be. I mean, yes, I'm a jack of all trades. I can install your floor. I can change a toilet. I can paint a room. I
Mhm.
can build a wall.
Yeah.
I can program your computer.
Build a wall.
I can,
Nice.
build a wall.
Yeah, there's might be a government job
I
for
know.
you.
Yeah, exactly. But I can design a website. I can film your wedding. I can whatever.
I've seen you in action. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously it's just there's way too much to build any kind of focus and what you're doing and to really kind of to ever get anything done because you're so split
Mhm.
in so many different directions.
Yeah.
I have a video that I've been working on for a band.
Mhm.
They came in and recorded some songs, And I put out 3 of them for him, and then I just gave him another 2. And I looked and I'm like, I got 12 more. And this went back in November.
Wow.
And for me, time is just cruising.
Mhm.
And it seems like yesterday that I did that project, and they're sitting there going, dude, it's been almost 3 months.
Mhm.
When am I going to see a video?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's coming. Wait, what? It's been 3 months?
Mhm.
Holy cow.
I don't know where January and February went.
No kidding.
It flew by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're almost wrapping up a quarter
Mhm.
in 2026,
I know.
And so you got taxes that are due, which I have to go in and I have to build all the financials and everything for, 3 companies.
Mhm.
I have these projects that I have to do. I have one company that I have to literally do all their financials for a whole year. And the reason why I have to do it for a whole year is because I didn't do it for the whole year. So now it's on me to say, okay, well,
Yeah.
But it's when you look at, so I was working with this business, and anytime you're dealing with anything regarding, the government or city politics or any of that kind of stuff, as a private business, we want to, it's like, here's the paperwork, here's this, sign off on it, and I'll start doing it tomorrow. I'll be done next week.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a 6-month project
Mhm.
because they have all these protocols that they have to go through. And
Different departments and
Yeah.
that the legal has to look at it, the whole thing. Yeah.
yeah.
It takes time.
And so it can get really frustrating.
Mhm.
And you look at some of these people who come from the private sector that are very critical of the government, and then they go to work for the government, and it's like, dude, you've become
become
what
one
you
of
were
them.
really critical
Exactly.
of.
Mhm.
And so you just kind of get sucked into it. It's like, I always joke about when you go into federal politics, you might be honest and have a good heart going in, but by the time you leave, you've made a few shady deals along the way, and you've sold your soul a couple of times.
Yeah, when you dip into that, that happens. And not intentionally, you just fall into that trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
happens.
because you got to sell your soul if you want to be able to get anywhere in
Any
the
longevity
federal
in that,
government.
you have to, yeah. It's, it's nuts. It's nuts. I totally get it. I'm going through that right now with with what we're doing at the Moorpark Chamber stuff. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And
you're not accustomed to waiting that time.
No. Well, I mean, I was used to.
Well, you are.
I was used to how that was going, but it's just like it's frustrating because when you have your stuff done, and then you wait and you wait and you wait, and it's not their fault. It's just the process you have to go through.
Well, they only meet once or twice a month, and then you have to, And if there's any changes that have to be made, well, now that's a whole other process that they have to
reset
go through. And
you see that when people do plans for building something, one change and they have to redo the whole thing, and it resets again. So it could be another 90 days before something happens. That's why it takes so long to build anything here in California.
Right.
There's so many loops, and I was reading something recently that a lot of big corporations are moving to Texas because they can build things within a year, where in Florida and like California and stuff, it could take 3-4 years to get the same thing built because there's less red tape, and all the requirements for like California, the environmental, studies and all these different things you got to do. So we're out there, they're just like, they move things forward. And so you're seeing a lot of big companies and these billionaires are moving over there for that reason, because government takes so long. And not federal, I mean federal, yes, but state too.
Yeah.
Well, even county and city.
Yeah, because you deal with something at the city level, then that has to go to the county, and then the county has to go to the state, and the state goes to the Fed. And
good example here in town is the bridge over there at the Harvest. How long is it taking to build that thing? They're barely building it, but they started the project 7 years ago?
Is that how long it's been?
When they approved all that whole Harvest thing?
Yeah.
And here you go. Look at how long it's taken to get that bridge because of all the loopholes you have to go through local, state, and federal government.
Yeah.
And the federal government is the one that had to approve it. So
at the city council meeting for Santa Paula last night,
right, we had a meeting last night.
yeah, they were talking. One of the things on the agenda was their legislative platform, and so some things they wanted to update about immigration and whatnot.
Mhm.
And one of the words they used in there was bipartisan. And Pedro raised a very interesting point because he was like, I don't know what that word means anymore, because I don't think that exists in our government anymore.
It's changed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so the legal definition of bipartisan is that when two major parties come across the aisle
Mhm.
and agree to do something. And that does not exist in our government anymore. There are very few. You go outside your party
Mhm.
and good luck.
Well, I mean, you see, especially lately in the federal government, you look at it, they may say it's a bipartisan agreement, whatever they do, but how long did it take to get to that point? Because, well, we want this, we want that, and it's give and take. And then finally they come, and it's never what they originally intended. They had to all compromise to get to a certain point just to move things forward.
Right.
It still may not be what they want, but it's
how bipartisan was it?
Exactly. So I mean, what the intent was never is what the result is,
Yeah.
because they had to give and take so much, and so by the time it gets to that level, it's like, why do we even do this? Waste all that time.
So there's one thing that I like about, and maybe a lot of cities do this. In New England, they didn't. They always ran by their party.
Mm.
The one thing I like about Santa Paula, and maybe this is something true in California with cities and whatnot, but there's no party affiliation. They don't identify a party. So it's not like we have 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, or 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats, or any of that stuff. We have 5 council members.
Yeah. Even though we know who they're usually aligned with, it's not official in documentation or anything like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Right. And there's no party
No.
affiliation or party what's the word I'm looking for? Loyalty.
Yeah.
Because they're just a council person amongst 5 that are making decisions based on the city, on what they feel is best, not based on what their party is.
And I think you're
saying
seeing
is
that
best.
even at the supervisors level too. I think when you get into like the state, legislators, that's when you're starting to see the party lines. Because if you look at our supervisors too, I mean, they don't really.
So there's no defined.
I don't think they push that at all. But I mean, they might in discussion, but I don't see it as far as, it's like if you're running for like here, District 3, it's this person or that person, and then, but you always know where they align too.
Right.
So.
Well, I think great. We all have our tendencies to lean one way or the other. But when you start associating yourself with the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, then there's this stigma about how either you're going to vote or how you have to vote. And it's like, vote what you feel is best for the people that you serve.
Yeah. You wonder at that point, are they making the best decision?
Yeah. Or are they just aligning with their party?
Which most of the time that's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I really admire the fact that they pull the parties out, and their thoughts and their beliefs may align with a particular party, but it's still one person who's doing what they feel is best for the people they're serving.
And that's what's great about city government, because you can do that, and that's, I've always talked about,
So this is true in most cities that they don't.
That I know of. Yeah.
So is Moore Park that way too?
Moore Park's the same way. It's just about, who's
running
in their district, whatever. But I think, like I always said, you can, control what you can control. I mean, when you vote, do what's best here, because we cannot control anything at state and above. No matter what happens, even when we vote, I mean, by the time California votes, it's pretty much decided who's going to win what election, So does your vote count? Yes, it counts, but not overall. I mean, your biggest impact is when you vote local. That's
Right.
when you can make your change because it's your community, But yeah, it's it's just interesting how you see that, and the news has created this whole divide.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the discussion, it's always about aligning with your party. They just got to get rid of all it. It'll never happen, but not in our lifetime.
No.
But
No, and I don't think a two-party system works anymore.
no,
It all just needs to. It's not. None of it is about serving the people anymore. It's all just about serving your party
and you.
and keeping your party in power.
Yeah.
And making sure you get reelected.
Well, how many times do you hear the term career politician?
Yeah.
And I know the federal government's looking at changing, making different terms and stuff, because you see people have been, a senator for how many years? Their entire career. It's like, so how does that happen? You should term out after a certain period of time.
But they're not going to vote themselves out of a job.
No. I mean, they can vote their own raise, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, are they going to do that? No, because they have too many, especially if there's a state that has a lot of big business, certain sectors. I mean, those people are usually there for years.
Right.
I mean, you see that in some of the bigger states, so.
Yeah, it's, so I started to do a little research. I don't have everything mapped out yet, but one of the things I'm trying to do is look at what politicians came into government with and where are they now. So for example, there was one politician that came in and their estimated worth was about 60 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And their estimated worth is in the tens of millions now.
Yeah, that's been a big topic over the last year that I've seen that. It's like, how, because they're talking about their net worth. And it's like, so how does this politician who's didn't have a big, like family inheritance or whatever, and they're just like you and I, and all of a sudden, bam, how do they get these millions? Well, where are they getting that money from?
Right.
People are buying their votes.
And I think the other thing too is that, they talk about insider trading. Well, if anyone has the in on what's going on and what policies are going to affect what, it's them.
And there's been a lot of talk about the stock market and how these politicians have made tons of money on these stocks.
Yeah.
And there's been these big,
because they have inside information.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I always felt like, if I'm going to invest in the stock market, I'm going to look at where, Pelosi and people like that are investing. Because if they all of a sudden buy up a bunch of stocks, I'm buying in those same stocks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Maybe it's time to be a career politician.
No, God, no.
It'll bring up your net worth.
I'd rather be broke.
So,
I would rather be broke.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are the good people in their own way, but yeah, you're right. When they get into that government sector, things change. It changes.
Well, and I don't think you can necessarily be a good person when you go into government because, well, number one, you're going to get ripped to shreds
no matter what you do.
And if you don't grow a backbone and thick skin, you're never going to survive.
No.
And so that in itself kind of makes you a cold person because you have to build, the walls and you have to safeguard yourself and not let things affect you.
That's hard to do.
And, somebody like me, I'd be dead in 6 months.
They put us,
and it's because
I think you'd spill the beans on everybody.
Oh, I'd kill myself if I went into government and got torn apart like people.
It takes a certain person to understand and to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
And that's why when they choose who's going to be in those positions, like especially when you get a president, you see how they're kind of handpicked based on how they can handle things.
Right.
They may not be the best person for the job, but they're the best person that fits what they're trying to do.
Right.
I was listening to somebody talk about that, how does, like Obama, how does he become this high profile all of a sudden? And he just came out of nowhere. I mean, it's like, and he was a decent president. He was, but he had the charisma. He knew how to talk.
Oh, yeah.
He knew how to deflect. And that's the type of you see a lot of our politicians are that. Our current president's the same way. He loves how to deflect and do this and do that.
Yeah, but
you know?
he does it as a bully.
Yeah, he did. The style's different.
Yeah.
But they all know how to maneuver. That you look at those kind of positions, they'll have that little slick way of maneuvering through that, you know.
I actually, when I watch some of the press conferences and stuff like that, I feel like we're back in kindergarten, because it's like, well, that's a stupid question.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the language
Or,
has changed a
"Oh,
lot. Yeah, yeah.
It's CNN. Well,
Yeah.
you know, you guys are all a bunch of morons. It's like, wow, is that the president of the United States of America talking? One of the world's, you know, greatest powers?
How many times you heard fake news and stealing and this person's this and this person's that and the nicknames and all that and stuff, you know, and it's just like you never heard that before.
We're back on the playground.
Yeah, well,
So,
you know, some people say it's time to smack the bully. Well, you know,
he's smacking it.
He's doing his thing, you know, but
he walked right up and slapped the bull in the ass.
But he's not doing anything he said he wasn't. It wasn't.
No,
do. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yep.
And people can't handle that.
No.
And you see that in all levels of government. You see our own governor here in California. He's a sly one himself, you know. So,
yeah.
But he says he's going to do this. This is what happens, you know. So he figures it out, you know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. Politics is interesting right now. It's hard for people to dive into that. It takes I think it's even more. You have to have even a thicker skin now to get into that because of social media.
Right. That's
changed politics altogether.
Well, the other thing that kind of bothers me is that what you used to be able to get up, go to work, do your thing, mind your P's and Q's, pay your bills, go home, have dinner, watch a little news, do something with the family, go to bed.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are some organizations, some companies that had to deal with the political spectrum because of who they were and what they were trying to do and the impact they had in the country and everything like that. But most everyday normal Americans just kind of did what they had to do. Yeah. And I got ceiling tile dust on me.
Yes.
Now it seems like government is far more engaged in your life. It has far more of an impact on your life
because of your phone.
Yeah.
You know, what do you do first thing when you get up in the morning? You're checking your phone, you look at emails, you're looking at the news, you're looking at social media, whatever, and you're seeing it all in your face instantly.
But even regulations and the forms and the regulations that they put on you and the red tape that they put in front of you and it's we laugh, but we sit there and say all the time, my generation rode a bike without a helmet and we seem to do just fine.
We have our moments, but
yeah, I mean,
but yeah, it was a different time.
I kind of poke the bear a little bit with this, but when you hear somebody sit there and they say, if it saves one life, if we put these regulations in place and it saves one life, it was worth it. And it's like, okay, but that's not really the reason why it's being done. Because if it were, if you change the speed limit on the freeway to 25 miles to 30 miles an hour, there would probably be no fatal crashes. None.
Yeah.
You would save thousands of lives. Why don't they do it? Because it would be way too inconvenient. It would take way too long to go from point A to point B. So it's like, okay, so we are willing to make some sacrifices in order to make life a little bit more convenient and efficient for us. But in other areas, it's like, no, we're going to, because we're going to save. And please don't send me hate mail or anything like that. But one turtle gets a straw in the nose and they completely change all the straws out to paper.
Yeah.
One turtle. If one kid had something, I guarantee you they wouldn't ban
Mhm.
whatever that was, just because one kid got into something.
Whatever organization beats the loudest.
Yeah,
I mean, look at
I have nothing against turtles.
no Turtle.
Yeah,
Turtle just made a bad decision. So but you look at it, even like that bridge they're building on the 101 across for the animal crossings and stuff.
right.
It took one person that wants to protect the animals and the environment and all that stuff, and they popped their own money in there, which is great. But I mean, is that the best use of that? But that's their passion, and that's their right to do that.
I've always wondered. It's like animals don't read signs.
How are they gonna read the signs to go to that direction?
Yeah.
I've always wondered that too.
Are they gonna see like arrows pointing towards the bridge? So you okay, we go this way instead of this way.
Is there lights at night for the signs too, or are they reflective
I don't know.
or whatever? I don't know. So yeah, I wondered that. Well, you're spending so much money on that when that money, and that's their right to do that, but that money could have been used for other things that affect people more.
Right.
That doesn't have any effect on people. Yes, you might have an animal that crosses the freeway, and so I'm sure it happens all over the country.
Right.
So
we get deer crossing in New England all the time.
Yeah.
And in fact, my dad had passed away, and like a month later, he was a deer hunter. But he hunted for food. He ate the meat and everything. And about a month after he passed away, my mom hit a deer with a car and killed it. And she's like, man, your father couldn't get a deer on his own. So he's, he throws one out in front of me to take care of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But he would have been hugely disappointed because she let the cop take it.
But took it home, but
he's like, I'm not going to cut this thing up. It's yours.
Yeah. It's just, and California has really been the one that kind of makes all these changes, and it just, you wonder, what are they thinking?
Right.
I mean, look at the whole change in plastic bags. Now there's no plastic bags in the grocery stores, but yet everything in that store is wrapped in plastic.
Right.
There was I was watching something where they showed, well, if you go into the meat department, everything's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
And styrofoam, which is even worse,
Yeah.
And then you look at a lot of the packaging and other things too. It's all in plastic and stuff. So is changing the plastic bags at the register gonna make a difference?
Well, the thing too is like the change. I don't know of any other state, although I guess New York is starting to implement charging for bags.
Yeah.
Which they're probably just following suit after California, because New York and California are
very similar.
Yeah, they're twin sisters.
Yeah.
But any other state, when we have guests that come here and it's like, would you like a bag? Well, yeah, I want a bag. Okay, it's 10 cents. What?
Yeah, we were in Arizona. We went to a grocery store, and they're like, you need some bags? I'm like, well, how much are they? They're like, they're free.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, what are you talking about? Why are you asking?
And they're plastic. I'm like, okay, here, they gave me a stack of bags. I'm like, okay, brought them home. So, but yeah, it's just, that's where all that politics comes into play and stuff. And,
so my understanding was initially that the government was going to get taxed that 10 cents. They were going to get some of that money in as kind of a fee for whatever.
Yeah.
And then I believe that got overturned through the courts or whatever. Yet the stores were still allowed to charge it and keep it. So I was at Vaughn's, and I got a paper bag because that's what she had. And I had I held it by the straps. It was, they packed it. So it wasn't like I, put too much. They packed it. I took the bag. I get to the door. The entire thing rips to pieces and everything falls out on the floor.
Yeah.
So they come over and they give me another bag. That bag rips. So now they double bag it. And I'm like, what's the point?
Exactly.
If you're going to give, so now they got a double bag. Are you going to charge me 20 cents? Because you got to use 2 bags.
Yeah.
Because your bags are a piece of crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, that's the one boggles my mind. I'm like, why are we doing this? This is, and then now it is paper bags. So why are they charging for paper bags?
Right.
The whole point of 10 cents was to deter people from using plastic and using renewable or reusable bags. But now that that's all gone, why are we still charging for bags?
Yeah.
So you're paying for a paper bag now?
Well, it's the same thing with the airlines.
Yeah.
So
We're not going to solve this today,
No, we're
but
not.
maybe
We're
in the
not.
next few episodes. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
crazy what's going on in this world.
yeah, and I think especially in the valley, because we have this whole valley is nothing but small businesses for the most part.
Yeah.
And most of these businesses are just like, I just want to do my business. I want to get up, I want to go to work, do an honest living,
Mhm.
and I want to go home, and I don't need all this stuff put in front of me that's
Mhm.
going to make it difficult for me to do my business.
Yep.
It's like some of these businesses spend more time in paperwork than they do actually running their business, because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we got to file this, we got to file that, we got to
All
put
the
this in here.
regulations. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the valley is kind of unique in a sense that we don't have the big box stores, we don't have these major corporations, we just got mom and pop, and they just want to they want to do their thing.
The biggest
And-
stores are grocery stores.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Everything is small.
Yep. So
Yeah, and you see a lot of even small businesses out there throughout the county and everywhere that they won't even take credit cards anymore because of the charges. They prefer cash.
wow.
A lot of them are like cashless. Everything's
Oh, yeah.
that's BS too.
That's gonna be an oxymoron pretty soon. It's gonna be like what do you mean we can't get cash anymore? What are you talking about?
Well,
you only take cash.
you go to these stadiums and stuff, and it's cashless, or these amusement parks. Be it one of the sponsors is a credit card company.
Oh, of course.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of
So
course.
of course, because they're charging you 3.5 cents or % on everything you do.
And pennies are no longer being made.
Yeah, they're going to round up or round down.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they just didn't round up everything.
Yeah.
So if it's
We stopped doing pennies a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we attempted to make everything in the shop. So I know there's marketing
Mhm.
things about, oh, it's $9.95. Because if you say $10, it sounds like it's too much.
Yeah.
But if you say $9.95, oh, that sounds better to the year.
Mhm.
So I get all that. But Josh and I decided, you know what? It's $10, it's $15, it's $20, it's whatever. Everything is, a nice even number.
Mhm.
But then we got taxes. So it screws it all up anyways.
Yeah. Because you can't say, well, it's including tax,
No.
but yet if you look at like tickets for events now, they include all the taxes, so they give you one price now. So you would have to do a breakdown, even though it's $10, that includes the tax, but then you have to give them a breakdown on your receipt,
Right.
what it was. That's a lot
Yeah.
of work,
Yeah.
So especially if you have a lot of items like you do.
That's not going to happen.
But we're the only weird country that does that, because you go to any other country, it's all rounded up. It's you go to Mexico, it's $10, it's $5, it's whatever it is.
Right.
There's no, even though they have pennies, it's they round everything up.
Yeah.
So they don't mess with it. So we're just, because of the different tax brackets that we have in each state. That's why it is what it is. We should just do a flat tax.
I agree.
I mean, that's been tried, that's been pushed, but it never gets any traction because California would suffer, New York would suffer because they'd lose out. Because they charge all this crazy amount of extra tax.
Right.
I was reading about gas. Their average gas price is $2.89 across the country. Ventura County is $4.49.
It was $2.49 in New York.
Isn't it crazy?
Yep.
Because of California's special blend of gas.
Yeah.
But yet
and the 60 cents that the state charges on top of the 18 cents that the Fed charges.
So if I fill up in Nevada or Arizona and I cross over into California, I'm using bad gas, right? Because it's supposed to be a special blend of gas.
You're a heathen.
I know it's getting. Maybe I'll just take some gas tanks, some gas cans with me, and just But it's crazy. I mean, you just cross one state next to you, and none of that is relevant.
Yeah, I admire the guys who live on the border.
Oh yeah, I
It's
go
like I
back
just
and
cross
forth all the
over.
time. Yeah, I go get my grocery bags and all that and stuff too.
Yeah.
I get charged for it, but yeah, it's nuts how states like California and New York, how they add all these things and stuff. And but yet again, look at people are leaving the states.
Yeah.
Because of I mean, it's super hard to buy a house here now for
Right.
anybody. Our younger generation, almost impossible now for them
No.
to buy a house. Ventura County is expensive too, but in the state in general.
Right.
That's why you get a lot of youngsters that are going to the Texases and all the Midwest states and all that stuff too, because it's cheaper.
Well, and they talk about affordable housing, and I hear the prices, and I'm going, who's that affordable to?
Affordable housing, it's like $780,000.
Yeah.
How's that affordable?
Affordable houses, 400 plus thousand. They have some homes here that they're considered affordable that are like 400,000 or whatever. That's still a 6-figure plus income that has to be made.
And it's usually a very small house,
Yeah.
like a 1-bedroom, whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want a decent family size house, you're going to pay between $700,000 and $800,000 on average, and that's affordable.
Right.
Considered affordable. Yeah, it's nuts.
Okay, so the name of the podcast is Voices of the Valley.
Yes,
and I think these two voices were basically voicing their frustration.
Yeah,
with
we went outside the valley.
No, I think we stayed in the valley. Hopefully we said what a lot of people have been wanting to say.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love living out here.
Yeah,
I love the valley. I love it.
Oh, this is totally unique compared to any of the other Southern California cities.
Ventura County in general is a great place to live.
Yeah,
and we got some great things here. It's just expensive.
It's just California.
Yeah, and that's California in general. I mean, this wasn't like this 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I want my family to stay here and buy my kids to buy their house and everything, but I don't see how they can do that.
Right.
It just without moving away. So and you see a lot of people there. That's why people don't move, because of the generations that stay in the same house over the years, because they can't afford to do anything else.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of frustration here in the county, and yeah, I don't know if it's going to get solved in our lifetime. I doubt it. Maybe not even our kids or grandkids' lives, but we just got to keep moving forward and doing our best.
I don't plan on being here that long.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully another 10, 15 years, when we're still talking in the show, if you're like, yeah, remember what we talked about back in the day,
when houses were $700,000 and now they're $7 million.
Yeah, maybe we'll have our AI doubles.
There you go.
Do the show.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Younger versions of us.
We should do it where it's the AI, we'll do the entire show using like the caricatures.
Yeah.
Talking.
Okay.
So that'd be interesting.
All right.
Something different. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. Whatever.
All right. Well, that's what happens when we have a week off. I know we're like 10 minutes over time, but I got to tell you this really quick story. So flying home, the airline that I was flying on, they give you duct tape with your ticket. Because sometimes you might have to go out and tape the wing or do a little repair job.
And they're doing that.
Yeah. So anyways, it's, our plane is delayed by 2 hours.
Okay.
And they end up finding another plane. So they put us on that plane.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets in, luggage all done. Apparently, which I guess is a good thing, there's somebody who is in the tower that is actually calculating weight, passengers, thrust, and wind conditions.
Yeah.
Which they then determined that our plane was not capable of taking off in that condition.
Okay.
They were going to have to deplane 70 passengers in order for that plane to get off the runway. I don't care if you deplane 100 passengers. If you're telling me I got a plane that can't get off the runway because all the seats are occupied, I don't want to be on that plane.
What's wrong with that engine?
Yeah.
Because they're made for full capacity.
Yeah.
Wow. Did y'all have to kind of move to? They had to just
no. So
correctly too.
The captain was like, "I'm not deplaning 70 people. It's gonna be a nightmare. Find me another plane." They had 5 flights that night that had 5 or less passengers on it. 5 flights with 5 or less people traveling. the plane had to take off because they needed that plane at the next airport. So we take over another plane. So everybody has to get off. They have to move all the luggage. Then we reboard onto this other plane. But it was a nightmare. We boarded 2 planes before we got onto our third plane that allowed us to actually take off.
That's scary.
So,
yeah.
And then you're going down the runway going, well, it doesn't feel like the wheels are up yet. Why is the front wheel not off the ground yet? Normally the front wheel's off the ground. I see those numbers counting down. Why don't I feel that lift yet?
Yeah, I've been on some planes that I've flown a lot, and some of those planes you question like what are they doing? You know, and I've been on the smaller planes where they had to distribute the correctly, and like, we need you to move to this seat, you to move.
You heavy people need to get to the middle of the plane, and you light people go to the back.
Yeah, I was moved a couple times, so I was like, what? They're like, well, we need to balance the weight on this side, so move the 2 skinny people, not me. You know, so are the ones that have the 2 seats and then the 1 seat, the smaller planes, the little planes, and so they have to balance everything out.
What gets me is when you see somebody outside the plane and they got a roll of duct tape and they strip it off and then they rip it, and you're going, where's he taping?
Yeah. Or they get the propeller and they have to crank it, you know? So, yeah.
Anyways, the joys of traveling. We will be back at our regular time next Wednesday, I assume.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Life tends to be getting in the way lately, but
there's a lot happening now.
There is a lot happening.
There's a lot going on in our worlds.
Yes.
So, yeah. We'll be here.
And maybe we'll have something useful to say.
I think that was pretty useful today.
Okay.
Well, we covered some topics. So,
yeah.
Maybe
we'll focus on things that are happening within the Valley next week.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about some events that are happening or have happened and stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, and real quick, if you're in Santa Paula at the Ag Museum, 5:00 tonight, they're having a mixer. So be sure to check that out.
Yep.
All right. We will see you all next week. Stay safe.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.